If I just said you get
I don't.
1993 Scottie Pippen, sick him. Don't you feel like
Go.
don't you feel like Luka would be more equipped for that? He's 6'7" himself, and I don't even want to diminish SGA because it's not even coming. Like, I'm not even saying it like, okay, like he can't score against elite talent. He can score on any fucking buddy. So I'm saying like you give them the best of the best. I just feel like Luka's got a little more than SGA.
So I think it depends on the defender, because Scottie Pippen, I actually think Luka would do better with. Take Pistons Dennis Rodman, I think Shea would do a little better with.
Yeah.
This is going to sound like so much hate, and I swear it's not.
Welcome back to the Warner Brothers podcast. I'm Kyle, joined by my brother Keenan. Keenan, what's up? Another OG Warner Brothers podcast.
Yep.
It's me and you. What's up?
Not much. It's been a little bit. We don't typically go a couple weeks really without a post, but I went to Arizona for a work trip. I got a good time. I run summit, got a bunch of free stuff. It was a good time, but also it was fun. So I'd never been to Arizona or really even to the West Coast, but really nice area. So I had fun. Glad I did.
Yeah, I heard about the free stuff. I think us as a family are in agreement that you don't even have to go Christmas shopping because of all the free stuff. So, I mean, you know, we're looking forward to some of the Nike stuff we might get for Christmas. So,
I mean, I got about every brand. They sent a pair of shoes and then shirts, inserts, and stuff. Like, so shout out to
like
Dick's Sporting Goods.
That's a recruiting treatment right there.
It really is. Like, they like to basically express like, hey, wear this stuff. We got to try out a lot of shoes, and basically it was like, hey, here is this, kind of talk about it to help sell, blah, 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 because Dick's Sporting is obviously one of the biggest companies in the world when it comes to sports. So got really, really nice shoes. Like the Pegasus 42s that haven't dropped yet.
Mm.
Yep.
Just got the unreleased joints.
Got the unreleased. They got them on a month. They're like, hey,
what's your
test them out? Tell me what you feel like.
Do you have a favorite pair that you got?
Probably the Nike Structure Plus. They're one of their new stability lines, but they also have like the Vomero 18 cushioning to it. It's kind of a high end stability Nike shoe, but it's nice. I really like it.
Okay. Comfort.
Yep.
And stability.
Comfort, a little bit of support. So I like it.
Highlight of, you were in Phoenix or just what area of Arizona?
Phoenix.
All right. What was the highlight of Phoenix?
Weather-wise, it was really cool. I actually thought it was going to feel hotter than it really actually did feel. Still hot, obviously, because it was like 96 to 98, but in the shade, it wasn't too bad. Obviously, the dry heat compared to the humidity there. So that shocked me a little bit. I expected to be a little hotter than I was, but it wasn't that bad. Just the overall area, we were in a nice part. We stayed at a very nice hotel, and the hotel had like an outside bar. It was like, so just the area that we were in, it was like really relaxing. So probably just the area of Phoenix was the highlight of being in the area. There's a lot of nice stuff around. So
very cool.
I enjoyed it.
Very cool. And I want to get this correct. As of today, you are a father of 2 kittens. Is this true?
Yes. So Danny, for the longest time, has wanted cats, kittens, and so we have a home, and so she was like, yeah, getting kittens. And I was like, sounds good. So we got 2 kittens. Still don't have the names for them yet. We're deciphering the names.
Very interesting, because you're not a cat guy, right? Like, you're like...
No, not really.
You're kind of not, I don't want to say anti-pet, but you're not a pet guy.
I would I'm fine with a dog. I think that's gonna, whenever we get a dog, cool. But like, I'm not.
So you're getting a dog too. You're planning on adding a dog.
There'll be a dog added to the mix here. I don't know when, but it'll be a dog added to the mix
within 2026. You think?
Yeah, 100%.
The family's growing.
Family's growing. It's crazy.
The family is growing.
Yep.
Can I have a lot of news and notes across mostly sports? Mm-hmm. Probably 98% sports, honestly, if not. But I've got a variety of topics here.
A lot of NBA discourse going around the MVP, best player in the world, and it's in the major media, and it's sprinkled into podcasts and everything. So the NBA has actually been fun. Though it hasn't been this regular culprit of only LeBron James talk. So it's actually been kind of cool of hearing other discourse of other players and stuff.
Yeah. I mean, I can't speak to ESPN. I think the NBA topics I have heard lately have been good. They've been, focused on, obviously, like when you're talking best player in the world, you're talking, people are kind of putting SGA above Nikola Jokic, and I love that discussion. I love it and I hate it. I love it because you can make.
So I don't know if you were watching the game. Jalen Brown just had a punch.
So I might be 30 seconds behind because Derek White's. Let me see for myself. Derek White's bringing up the court. Gives it to Jalen. Turns on Caruso. Oh, give me that. All right. On Jay. Okay. On J-Dub part 2.
Threw me off. I was not expecting that. Also, just want to say second best dunk of the night, though, because Stephon Castle had a punch. Man.
You know what?
After this, watch Stephon Castle.
I'm gonna go to it right now.
I was not expecting it, but it was mean.
He got him. I gotta say,
got him.
Very similar to Jalen.
It was kind of a quick. They were kind of very similar. I guess it was just like the quick. I don't know, but I mean, you
kind of got on the way up.
It was nice too.
Castle kind of got on the way up. I like that. Shit. As I was saying, what was I saying? Oh, the reason why I love the SGA,
a lot of NBA topics. Yeah.
The reason why I love that argument and that debate is because though we'll probably look back on this year, and if you look back at the years before, you'd say, okay, Jokic still has his stats. Jokic is still the best player in the world. As I've said it before, SGA has the crown, right? And he is, and we'll talk about it actually. We'll talk about this topic, but SGA is probably the best scorer in the league right now. It's up for debate, but like, you can't be mad if someone says that, right? Like he's averaging like what, 32 a game. I want to get the stats correct on that. So look that up for me, Keenan. 32 came to my mind. Maybe it's less. Maybe it's at the 30, but 32 comes to mind. But I love it because
31 and a half a game on 50% shooting.
You're at his mercy. So he's on the best team in the league. He's the leader of that best team in the league. But like, who's a better offensive player? Jokic. Jokic can do more. But like, no one's wrong in saying SGA. If they think SGA is the best player in the league right now, no one's wrong when they say that. If you think Jokic is the best player in the league right now, you're not necessarily wrong when you're saying that. So I do love that argument. Let's get into it.
There has been Wemby talk for best player in the world. And like, that's been a thing that has been legitimate like conversation. And then obviously Luka's been semi-lumen because Luka's had an insane month of March. But yeah,
and that's
those
why
are the 4 guys right now. Those are your best 4.
That's why I love this right now, Keenan, because guess what? In 3 weeks, we get to settle all this. We get to settle all of it. We get SGA, Luka, and Jokic, and Wemby on the playoffs.
They're all in the West.
And guess what? They're all in the West. And guess what? Some of them might even face each other. A good chance.
One out of those 4 guys probably should get to the finals. And if for some reason it's Ant, I'm saying like he has a claim like, guys, I went through at least 2 of you, if not 3 of you guys, to get to the finals here. I'm better than all of you. And you wouldn't be able to even like bat, and he'd like back-to-back conference finals and a finals appearance. You couldn't even be like, well, I mean,
then he's got his own claim. Then he's got his own claim.
We beat you guys in the series head to head. You could argue that his team has less talent than 2 of the 3, 3 of the 4, maybe, depending on who you're part of. Golly. No, I'm with you. I could have just a playoff with the Western Conference alone, but then the East has a lot of like the Celtics. Can they get it? Like the Knicks? Is Cade going to be able to come back in time? What if the Sixers are healthy? Like, there's a lot in the Eastern Conference. What if the Hornets get hot? Like,
Hornets
they're cooking.
Hornets are hot. That's the thing.
No, I'm saying like I meant in the playoffs get hot. Like, what if they're like roll in the play? Like maybe they could sneak a round or 2 out.
You and John thought I was crazy for saying they're a second round team, but I really depending on who they get, I wouldn't be surprised to see them in the second round. Granted, it's going to be one of the top 2 teams. I don't see them beating Boston, but I think they could beat Detroit. If Detroit's the 1 seed, I think they can beat Detroit.
I think before the Cade injury, I would have been pretty shocked if they beat him in a 7-game series just because of the physicality of Detroit. Now with Cade, obviously, with that collapsed lung, if he does come back for the playoffs, what's his win going to be like? And then that's going to be a tough. He should be back for the playoffs, but like, what is his conditioning going to be? Obviously, it's hard to train with a collapsed lung. So, like, what's his conditioning going to be? Because that's a team in Charlotte that's like, let's get the ball and go. Like, that's an up and down series. So, if he can't dictate pace in that series, it could put him in a less than advantageous position. So, I think with the Cade obviously setback, that it could be definitely a more interesting series, even though I thought it was already going to be an interesting series, but I would have favored Detroit. If that's the case to what it is.
All right. Some NBA topics, some NFL topics, some ancillary topics.
Yeah.
There is one place I want to start. I did just mention John, though. Shouts to John. Shouts to Ray. Shouts to the Is the Hype Real podcast. You guys will see me on there tomorrow. Brandon was on there the other night with me and John. Keenan, if you're able to, join us tomorrow. I'm not sure what the topics are quite yet, but join us tomorrow if you're able to. But I have 2 questions, Keenan, from the last time you joined us, which I think was 2 weeks ago. It was actually the night after Bam dropped 83. There was 2 things that I wanted to talk to you about, but we couldn't because it's a live show and we got to keep stuff moving on there.
Of course.
And I just want to see if I heard myself correctly before we get to the real topics. Did you say you'd take Bam Adebayo over Devin Booker? Was that something I caught?
No. I was saying that he is the closest guy in tier out of everybody who has scored 70 points or more.
Okay.
Like Bam, like Devin Booker is the closest to Bam Adebayo, like when it comes to tier of guys, because obviously it's Luka, it's Wilt, it's Kobe. Like he's not on. But no.
Okay.
Devin Booker. I'm taking Devin Booker. So if that got misconstrued, no, I'm taking Devin Booker over Bam every day of the week. It's just that out of the guys who scored 70 plus, it was him or Donovan Mitchell that Bam's closest to in stature, which is why it was kind of crazy to say like Bam has 83. You would have thought it would have been someone crazy, which is why that was there. But yes, to clarify that.
Next clarification, I did not get to push back on. Orlando Magic.
Yeah.
They have a team.
What about it?
They have a team.
They have a team.
Did you say that you like them better without, like, you just take Franz off the roster and you like the roster better without Franz? Did I catch that on there too?
I said the opposite. No, I do not like them better without Franz. Like, I think with Franz, they're a much better team. So I don't know if that got misconstrued too, because obviously we keep things moving.
I could have.
Obviously, I
could have went back and looked, but I was like, I'm going to go by with what I heard or what I thought I heard, because who knows? Because, things get said in conversation.
If I did say anything like that, I don't remember saying that, and I don't even, I'm going to disagree with myself if I said it. So, no. Franz is a phenomenal player. I think maybe at some point, depending on how things go, you're going to have to choose one or the other and maybe trade the other for asset depending. But again, they haven't been healthy this year. You don't know what their pinnacle is going to be, especially with Desmond Bane. So you give that a year or two, but it might get to that point where people were starting to talk about Jalen and Jason. It was like, not that they're at that level, but starting to talk about Jalen and Jason. Like, is this going to work? Do we have to trade one, maybe trade the other? And obviously, Jalen and Jason had much more success getting to multiple conference finals, getting to an NBA finals before that was said. So
yeah,
that's the only thing with those two. You might have to move off of one, but no, they're better with front. Hey, well, when you have a playmaker who can score, you're going to be better with that guy, especially when you don't have too many ball creators on that team.
Yeah, a couple things. You bringing up Jalen and Jason, that was such a media not fabricated, but media pushed story that was not coming out of Boston. The fans really weren't talking about it. Funny enough, I think maybe Boston media might be pushing a whole Jalen versus Jason thing again now.
Yes.
So you might have got the Jalen versus Jason, but the fact that they tried to push one of them's got to be traded, I didn't like that. And I mean, this is just me going on a tangent. That has nothing to do with anything because I hated how the whole Giannis thing, that was like 3/4 of the season, that was people tried to make a story when he never made a formal request.
Yeah.
Maybe I'm annoyed because I was at the gym earlier today and they had ESPN on and like the leading topic was Giannis again. I'm like, there is so much more going on in the NBA, so much better going on in the NBA for us to talk about or for ESPN to talk about other than Giannis.
Giannis is a late June topic. I don't care to hear about it right now.
Exactly.
Like that's a late June because he is the most interesting part of late June because though the likelihood of him being traded at the deadline, not high. You don't really see players of that magnitude get traded often at the deadline. But in the off season, 100%. Because now he's at a point where he's on like the last year of his contract. So that's where it actually gets interesting because like, are you going to just let him walk or are you actually going to trade him for something? So that's when it gets interesting. But I could not care less for that until 2 weeks after the NBA finals. Like, give me time to digest what happened in the NBA finals, and then we'll talk Giannis and biggest moves, LeBron, other things.
I do want to stay on Orlando in the East in general for a second. Orlando's a team that I think people expected to be, and me included on this, that expected to be like maybe in the Detroit position this year.
Yeah.
Especially
100%.
with how we had uncertainty coming into the season in the Eastern Conference.
Yep.
And the East is all of a sudden deep as hell. Don't know how.
It is.
But it is. And like we're just talking about the Hornets. I think the Hornets are like 3 games out of the 6th spot and they're at the 10. Like out of nowhere, it's deep.
They're 2.5 out of the 5, actually. So they can, and with how the Raptors have been playing lately, we could be in a world where the 5 seed is the Hornets by the end of the season. That could happen.
I want to ask you what your temperature is on the Eastern Conference because the Heat are kind of hot right now. The Magic out of nowhere after looking super inconsistent are probably playing their best ball. Atlanta in the middle of a win streak. And, let me check right now this game against the Pistons. They're down
like
1 with 5 minutes left.
Yeah.
And I believe they're on a 11-game win streak right now. 10 or 11-game win streak. They're the 6th right now.
They've won like 11 of or 12 of the last 13 or 11 of their last 12. They're roughly in that range right now.
Yeah, Magic have dropped. Ever changing. What's your temperature on the East between Miami, Charlotte, Orlando? You got Philly, who's dropped because of the injuries now. And then you got Atlanta, again, one of the hottest teams in the league, if not the hottest team in the league. Raptors, I don't really care about the Raptors. And then you got the top 4 who kind of separate themselves. What's your temperature on that? What's your gut feeling right now going towards the playoffs?
That because of the Cade injury, I've got 3 teams that have legitimate shots to get to the finals. So it's Boston, New York, and Cleveland to me are the 3 they get to the finals and like no one's really shocked. Like they went on a good run, they did their thing. Like whatever you feel about whatever team, what better, worse, whatever. But those are the 3 like legitimate ones. Detroit's a little bit in the middle. So like I tier them in on like kind of 3 tiers. Detroit's in the middle just because I think they're a legitimate championship kind of caliber team at full strength. I think they're one ball guard away from being like a real every year contender. But this year, I think with how the East shapes up, they can match up with teams. But obviously, Cade's injury, you want to table that because you don't know how he's going to come back. And then I think it's just like 4 or 5 teams that are like right in that next spot. And though that means that one of those teams most likely could get to the second round if they get the right matchup, they can get to the conference finals kind of thing. To where Philly could be that way, Charlotte could be that way, Orlando could be that way. I think to get to the conference finals, everything broke right, but Orlando I'd be the most shocked out of. And then Atlanta and Miami and Toronto maybe not because like they haven't played well against great teams this year, but Atlanta and Miami could maybe mess around and get around. Especially like if they get the right matchup, if it is Detroit or something like that, or if they sneak up to the 4 or 5 seed and they play one of each other. So like they could do that. That's my read on the East is like I have 3 legitimate teams that I could see getting to the NBA finals this year. And outside of that, I think it's a puncher's chance for the remainder of the conference, all depending on Detroit. They're in the middle.
Yeah, man. I mean, I love it. I just love the position
Yeah.
Both conferences are in. I'm happy with the East.
Yep.
I think it's gonna give us some extremely interesting early round Eastern Conference matchups.
Yes.
I don't think we're gonna get. We might get a sweep here or there, especially depending on who gets the one, whatever. But it does lend itself to have some competitive early round series, which will lead to some very competitive semifinal and conference final action. And then, of course, everyone in the West is just going to beat the hell up on each other. Can we often talk? I want to know your opinion on this. And I think I've asked you this, but I don't think I've asked you this directly. We often talk about how the regular season is too long. Do you feel like the NBA postseason is too long?
No, but I feel like shortening it could make it better, if that makes sense. So I don't think it's like in the sense where I'm like, oh, it's dragging on, it's too long. But I do think the league could benefit from the first round being 5 games. I think that alone could cut off just a week. And then I also think that if you get rid of the play-in, which we've said forever, and you cut the round to 5, like that takes off 2 weeks. And then I think that would make it a little bit better because to be honest with you, I understand if one of the 1 seeds can't win a 5-game series, then they probably shouldn't have been the 1 seed, or like they should have lost anyway. Like, I don't think we need a 7. Like, if you have to go 7 with an 8 seed, I mean, you could do that and get to the finals, whatever. But like, if you can't do it in 5, come on. Maybe not like a 1 or 3 game, because obviously anything can happen on a 1 game, or even a 3 game's a little light. But a 5-game series for the first round would be A-okay with me, and get rid of the play-in.
I think
I'm not mad at the length.
I might have a slight solution. Shouts to our guy. You've heard us mention him a few times, Aaron Medley.
Shout out Aaron.
His birthday is April 16th, and I always use that as a parameter for when the playoffs are, because it's always like, if his birthday's on a Wednesday, it's that Saturday. You know what I mean? So I always like, all right, his birthday, playoffs is right after that, right? I say that to say the fucking finals doesn't end. If it goes 7 games, dude, it's like June 20th. That's 2 full months of playoffs, which is fine. Because they drag the whole finals out 2 full weeks. If it starts on a Sunday, which it normally does, usually starts, or I think this past year started on a Thursday. And then the middle of next week is usually your games 3, and then 4 is the next weekend. So you're not getting game 7 until 2 full weeks after the start, right?
Yeah.
My way to fix
because you get like a 2-2-3, 2-3-2, like it's some like games in between, or like days between games.
It's nuts. 3 games is not necessary in the finals, or 3 days in between.
I understand it's a travel day, but like, guys, we're okay.
Come on now.
Come on.
I say that to say, Keenan, I forget what old ass game I was watching came up, and by the way, you can get classic games on Peacock, which is kind of dope. But
that's cool.
I was watching this old game, and then they're like, yeah, game 4 tomorrow night back at, wherever they were playing. And it's crazy, but that, like, for a time, like, even in my childhood, there was back-to-back games for play. You know what I mean? Especially when you got 2 home games in a row. Why not? That would at least speed things up in early rounds. And, oh, by the way, they're not consistent at all in the early rounds with how they friggin' hand out these, okay, you got 2 nights off, you got 1 night off. You might get 4 nights off. There's some times where you'll have a game 2 on a Tuesday, and then they don't play again till Friday or Saturday. That legit happens. So there's no fucking rhyme or reason to how they like disperse these matchups and their time off and this and that.
Just every other night. Like, if you don't want back-to-backs, cool. Just at least every other night.
Every other night.
That work, like, just every other night. That's all you have to do, and that makes it so it's easy. And then if you want to take obviously, because some series last 5, so whatever the case may be, just every other night. You don't need it baseball to where it's like back to back to back to back. You want a little bit of a break in between, but every other night. And if you want to make the finals maybe like on a travel day too, just because. So like if you have a Tuesday game maybe for a travel, you have like Tuesday, and then there's Wednesday, Thursday, and you play on a Friday. Maybe we're okay with that. But like, other than that, for a finals, we don't. Just every other. Like, we're fine.
Yeah.
You'll be all right. Yes. Yeah. You'll be all right.
two things to add to that. Like one, I've seen on the playoff games, like again, their scheduling's horrible. You'll have nights where there's, and I'm talking first round here. You'll have nights where there's maybe 2 games, but then you'll have a night where they try to stack 4 games. Like you'll have one that starts at 7, then the next one starts at 7:30, and then you've got one at 8:30, and then maybe 10, which those balance out. But those 3 Eastern Conference games that they try to cram in, it's nuts. You can't really follow the sport that way. We can with technology, but I mean, your average basketball fan who just wants to watch the games, that's nuts.
And then it's hard because like you have your guaranteed NBA TV slot. Like if it's Pistons Heat, that's an NBA TV series. Like that's they're not. They might get one ESPN game or major TV network game. Everything else, that's NBA TV. So if you don't have NBA TV and that's one of your favorite teams, you're not watching.
And they don't exactly
like
advertise that well. That this game's going to be on NBA TV.
Yeah, just follow it on Gamecast. Like you'll figure it out.
And another thing that they do, and maybe this makes more sense to talk about when the time comes, but it's I think it's a valid complaint. You just mentioned how like okay Tuesday and then we put the game on Friday. What they do instead, they swear they're the NFL, and I get it's summer, but they love these Tuesday, Sunday, Thursday. Why not do Friday and Sunday? Wouldn't Friday and Sunday get the most eyes? Friday 8:30 game, 8 p.m. game. Then go to Sunday. I don't know. It seems like the MLB is like killing them in this type of stuff where it's just like scheduling, which granted, like you said, they do back-to-back nights and all that because it's typical of their season. You have series anyways, but I don't know, man. I've never understood their fascination with having Sunday nights, which that is a good scheduled night, but whatever. But then Tuesday, Wednesday, never a Friday NBA matchup seemingly, and never a Saturday NBA matchups.
They love their Tuesday matchups. They love
Tuesday, Thursday, and skipping Friday, Saturday so they can get to Sunday. I don't understand it. Speaking of teams, Keenan, that have been in the NBA Finals, classic teams that have been in the NBA Finals, I want to know what you don't even have to pick a winner. I just want to know what you think of this matchup, all right? 2025. I'll throw both teams because they're basically the same roster. Last year's Thunder along with this year's Thunder, right? The 2013 Miami Heat. How do you think that matchup goes?
It's a 6 or 7 game series. There's no way either team wins in 5 to me. My personal opinion. 2012, 2013, in that finals, Wade had a little bit of a resurgence. He had the big game 4, played well in game 7. So you have a not peak Wade, but you still have a very good Wade. I think leaning Heat in 7, because I guess I'm not betting against LeBron in a game 7, but if you told me a team won in 6, I actually think it'd be the Thunder.
And by the way, you don't even have to necessarily take the NBA Finals version of the 2013 Heat, because remember, 2013
that was a 27 game in a row,
27 games straight. So you had a Dwayne Wade in that season that was very effective. Obviously, he wasn't in the playoffs, but like you said, he kind of took a step back between maybe March and the rest of the season. But
he had some moments because I think that was the year he had the 40-point game against Indiana. Like he had some moments throughout the playoffs because like Wade could summon like whatever he needed to at that point for big moments. But overall, he wasn't the same level of player, obviously, that we had seen win finals MVP, be the best player in a finals with LeBron on his team. He wasn't that guy. But yeah, that's a really good series. Because like I'm thinking to myself, who's guarding Braun? No, like Lou Dort's going to be your guy.
Lou Gantz. Whatever the fuck his name is, Lou Gantz.
I don't know how that's going. But like then it's like then you look on the other side like who's guarding Shea?
He's got the body for it. I'll say that.
No, he does. He does. Like if you're going to have a guy, but like at that point that was a 40% from 3 LeBron. So like what are you doing? But and then like who's guarding Shea?
LeBron for some stretches.
No, it will be fourth quarter will be LeBron.
Wade for some stretches.
Wade would be like mid-second. LeBron would be fourth.
Chalmers might get him some.
I was going to say you'd get Chalmers. You'd get maybe 4 pest minutes of Norris Cole. You might get 4 pest minutes of Norris Cole in there just trying to make his life bothersome. But yeah, so that would be how can you exploit matchups. And I think I favor Bosh over Chet at this point. The Chet you have right now, I think Bosh is just a veteran. So then Wade and J-Dub, that's interesting. You would go Wade with savvy, but J-Dub has a little bit more obviously bounce to him at this point in his career for where Wade was. And obviously you're going LeBron over Shea, even though Shea's very good. I think I'd lead in the Heat, but that's a really good series.
Okay. Yeah, I don't know where I would go with it. Both elite defensive teams.
That was the last, like one of the last teams that you really saw and said, hey, we'll pick up someone full court. And like, I think that gets lost in the Heat like team because obviously it was not flight and whatever, but like they would say, hey, we're going to pick them up full court today. And they would just put the clamps on people. Oh, man.
You had a lineup of, if you had Chalmers, Dwayne Wade, LeBron, Battier, and Bosh, that's a pretty devastating 5 for defense. You can switch anything there. Chalmers got long arms. I think Chalmers was like 6'3", 6'4", up there with Dwayne Wade. So that's a tough defensive team. And then obviously the Thunder, their defensive upside, their physicality, their perimeter defense. I kind of think Miami would have the advantage at the rim, though. I think LeBron's getting to the rim at will. I think he's getting Chet out of there. Obviously, you got the other Jalen Williams, who is like emerging. Like they're not even going to need Isaiah Hartenstein anymore. So I don't know. I think LeBron and Wade and Bosh. I think all 3 of them can get those 3 bigs in foul trouble. That being said, that's a solid trio of bigs to have. If once you have Chet go out, you got Hartenstein and J-Dub, or Jalen Williams, I should say. J-Dub part 2. But I don't know. I think they also, Thunder have a lot of perimeter guys to throw back at LeBron and Dwayne Wade to irritate. If Dwayne Wade's having an off game,
you go Caruso, Shea, Dort, Chet, and Jalen Williams, and you can switch everything there too.
You know what I think would kind of swing it? What I think could kind of swing it, if the Heat, let's say the Heat are in control, or it's a 50-50 game, But I think if the fact that the Heat can shoot, which, okay, every team in the NBA now can shoot, right? And that's what the Thunder kind of specialize at is, defending the 3 and perimeter defending in general. But the fact, and this is kind of what got the Magic against the 2009 Cavs, what gave them an advantage. The fact that the Heat have guys who are like 6'8", 6'7", 6'9", who can shoot, or in Bosh's case, 6'10", 6'11". Battier's a big dude. Ray Allen's a true 6'6", who can shoot over anybody. He's not Mike Miller's 6'8". So I think that would almost swing it to where you're not really losing much on defense, or you could at least be physical on defense with that size. And then you could turn around and maybe not be as affected by some of these the perimeter defenders on OKC. Because not for nothing, some of their best perimeter defenders are undersized, like Caruso, like Kasem Wallace.
Dort's shorter, even though he is obviously very physical, of course, but like he's only 6'5"-ish.
Yeah,
so he's even shorter.
Built like Ray Lewis for whatever reason, but
he could have easily played linebacker
because he's kind of like, he wouldn't have done anything with Bron necessarily. Like Bron would have won that matchup, but he's kind of perfect for that version of LeBron.
Yeah, no, because that was.
Which, by the way, not for nothing.
That was huge.
Not for nothing. Yeah. Boston just up double digits. Caruso just made a shot. Now it's single digits. 103-94. Boston's up at home here.
They've been playing really well.
Real quick on Tatum. I have another topic for NBA, but real quick on Tatum, because you said, hey, if Jason Tatum comes back and he looks 100%, why not? And I was like, I don't really see him coming back 100% because it's a torn Achilles. He fucking kind of looks 90% of Jason Tatum already, and I don't understand it. And not just him, DeJounte Murray looks great off his torn Achilles, and it's kind of breaking my brain. I know we saw KD look great after his torn Achilles and he had an extended break off. KD's like, what, better than 99.9% of NBA players?
Yeah.
It's kind of breaking my brain that Tatum and DeJounte just look fresh coming off this. They don't look hesitant at all.
No, I completely agree with that. That is kind of weird. But I also, when it comes to it, I think that the Achilles is starting to become, because of how frequent it is starting to become the new ACL. Because ACLs back.
I don't go that far.
No. I'm not saying in that sense. Like, if people are going to consistently do this, but I mean, torn ACLs in like the mid 2010s were something that you're like, oh man, everybody, you'd be like, okay, he's out forever. He's going to be fine. And then Adrian Peterson came back. He tore his ACL at the end of the season and then came back the next year and almost broke the rushing record. And then you started to see people more and more come back a little earlier from torn ACLs and them not have the setbacks that they had. And I think that it just, with Achilles not being, it was such a not foreign injury, but it was one that you didn't see as much, but you were like, oh, you got to be kidding me. And now it's happening so much. I think just doctors and like you're starting to get more and more enhanced rehab and learning. So I just think the timeline's going to increase. Not that everyone's going to come back in 9 months from it, but I just think you're going to have players who are going to be able to come back a little bit more just because modern medicine is going to continue to advance, because this has been such a higher level injury. Like, the capacity of it's been higher level. If that makes sense.
So you're not saying that it will come back as, so wait, what are you saying here? If you're not saying it's not,
I was basically saying, like, so a torn ACL used to be a guaranteed 12 to 14 month injury back, like, and then it's turned into like a 9 to 12 month injury. It just like kind of started, like the timeline kind of moved a little bit. And with the Achilles, it always felt like it was an 18-month injury. Like, it was just going to be out for a while. And then I think now that the modern medicine, you're still getting more and more people that's happening. I think people are like locking in on how can we speed up this rehab process but still keep you 100% healthy. That I think it might adjust the time frame of the Achilles just a little bit. Not that it's going to be, oh, you come back in 8 months and be fine, but like, from, say, if it was 15 months, maybe to like 13 to 12, like that, you could kind of move up into that. That was my comparison between the ACL and then the Achilles.
Modern medicine is one way to put it. I don't really know what's legit and what's not when it comes to these sports recoveries.
Fair.
Because when Peterson came back, that's still insane. The fact that he came back from 8 months from a torn ACL.
Oh, that's insane. That's insane.
And I think, I forget who it was. I want to say Terrell Suggs. It was Ray Lewis. He came back from a torn bicep or torn tricep.
He played in the Super Bowl that year.
Yeah, like, I don't know. I don't know what's legit. I know Tatum, whatever Tatum's surgery was, I know they made a big deal about the fact that he went right into surgery like that night and didn't get surgery the next day. He got surgery before the swelling. I know they made a big deal about that, but they also made a big deal about this being, as I'm saying that, there's a commercial about this Achilles injury with Jason Tatum in it. But they also made a big deal about the fact that it was a cutting edge surgery. I don't really know what or why that is, but I don't know. It's interesting because then you got Tyrese Halliburton, who was out at the end of June there, who we won't see this year. But it seems like if he got the Jason Tatum treatment, that he could possibly play next month in April. Like, if they were in the thick of things. So
yeah,
I'm very interested not only to see Tyrese Halliburton come back, but obviously Dame. I want to see how Dame comes back at his age. He was already losing the athleticism. So I'm really interested in that. Ken, another comparison I alluded to earlier when we were talking about one SGA. You actually brought this to me. You messaged me after Luka's 60-point effort this past weekend. You said, who's a better scorer, Luka or SGA? And I kind of think of it the same way I just mentioned about SGA and Jokic. I don't think there's a wrong answer here when it comes to these two players. I think SGA from the two guard position is about an automatic of a bucket since Mike. Like, I feel the same way when I watch like old MJ tape when it's like, all right, Like if you're actually watching a game with MJ and he's just rising up from the mid-range, you think every shot's good. And he gets so much elevation on his shot. The defense is completely at his mercy. SGA doesn't get the elevation on his shot that MJ does, but getting that shot up, he gets the separation. So you are completely at his mercy, and all he is doing is measuring his shot at the mid-range because you can't do nothing about it. So I think SGA is as automatic as a 2 points as you can get in the league right now. That being said, I think Luka, whatever level you think Luka is as a scorer, as we've mentioned before, 73 points 2 years ago against the Hawks. 60 points, as we just said, this past weekend. He's been doing that since he was 20. That's the only, that's like the biggest argument I have. And if we're talking offensive player, I think because Luka's such a playmaker, I'd put him as an offensive player over SGA.
Yeah.
But just score.
The best offensive players are Luka and Jokic. That's the conversation.
Just scoring, I'm not mad. Again, same thing I said about SGA. Not mad if you want to put SGA above Luka as far as a scorer. But also, Luka was frying Kawhi and Paul George at 21 in the playoffs at the bubble, mind you. But, and has done that routinely. This is when he was fat, and he's still a little.
He might have. Yeah, I was gonna say he went from skinny to big to now skinny again. Because when he came in the league, he was small. But no, genuinely, and this is gonna sound like I've always talked about it when there's people who are more explosive scorers, and then there are people who are just more consistent scorers. And if I was somebody scored 70, I would say Luka. Obviously, we've seen it. We haven't seen Shea do it. But even still, before, say you didn't have a 73.
And if someone said someone scored 83.
Bam, of course. But, I mean, duh. But again, but Shea is just so consistent that, if a late game, and I know how good Luka is, I just feel like if I needed only a one-on-one shot, I would actually trust that Shea's going to get the better shot. Whether it goes in or not, the better shot, and here's the thing, because Luka's going to get probably a fadeaway deep three that's going to probably go in because he's so good. But Shea's going to get you a mid-range step back where he has separation. So, he's going to get the cleaner look. I'm not saying Luka.
I don't know about that though, because Luka can just walk his way to the rim.
But Luka can get it. It's one of those. But then also Shea can. I mean, we've seen it. We saw it 2 weeks ago. Shea can hit you with that step back three for the win too.
For sure.
So it's one of those things. And obviously, we are splitting hairs here. These are two of some of the greatest scorers, honestly, of all time. When we're really talking about it, these are some of the greatest scorers. Well, I'm fine putting both of them in the conversation this early. Not that they're the greatest. Very, very talented scorers. So
I have no problem. I have no problem putting either one in the top 20. And if you said top 15, I'd probably have to think about it. But I would have. I mean, Luka's like I said, Luka's been there since he was 20. Luka has been that dude since he was 20.
And Shea was 19 his rookie, or not 19, he was 10, then 19 went down on the Thunder, 19, 23, 24, 31, 30, 33, 32, rounding up a little bit. It's in 4 straight 30-point game seasons. And the thing with Shea is all of those 30-point game seasons have been on better 50% or better shooting, which is why when you look at the consistency, it's oh, wow. He is at a level of consistent where I'm okay. And his 3-point percentage has only gone up every single year since he started scoring 30. He's going to creep into 50, 40, 90 territory while putting up 30 plus a game here soon. So that's where I was thinking. And after that Nugget shot too, I was is he the best player in the world? Is he that might just be that guy. And it might take a Jokic just 7-game masterpiece, kind of like when Steph was best player and then LeBron just said, hey, no, you sit over there. I'm coming back from 3-1. This is still my league. Sit. So it might take a Jokic just saying, Shea, you're really cool. Back-to-back MVP. Like, I haven't done that. And then you go sit. Here's a 32-point triple-double against your team, who's supposed to be better than me. I'll win in 7. So, like, that could happen. You never know. Or then you talk about this Wemby guy who had 5 blocks in 15 minutes of basketball today. And you're like, okay. Okay.
It's extremely hard.
I love it.
I'll say this.
Love it.
Like, don't you feel like if you had, all right, let's say you get prime Scottie Pippen, prime Kawhi Leonard, even though Kawhi is right now locking up just how his prime did, don't you feel like they'd have a little easier of a time with SGA than Luka, with all that Luka has to, like, in his arsenal? Like, if I just said you get 1993 Scottie Pippen, sick him. Don't you feel like
go?
Don't you feel like Luka would be more equipped for that? Given he's 6'7" himself, and I don't even want to diminish SGA because it's not even coming. Like, I'm not even saying it like, okay, like he can't score against elite talent. He can score on any fucking buddy. But I'm saying, like, you give them the best of the best. I just feel like Luka's got a little more than SGA.
So I think it depends on the defender, because Scottie Pippen, I actually think Luka would do better with. Take Pistons Dennis Rodman, I think Shea would do a little better.
Yeah, because Luka would fucking get ejected out of the game probably. He'd probably try to choke.
No, I more so, I mean, like, the guys, not, and again, the same way Shea can score on anybody, Scottie Pippen's not weak. But the defenders that are a little bit stronger and not as quick, I think would be able to stay with Luka a little bit better, because even though Luka's quick, he's obviously not the Shea quickness. And then when it comes to your a little quicker, agile defenders that maybe not have as much like muscle mass, those would be the defenders that Luka could do a little. I really think it depends on the defender with them, because they're that good. So if you said Scotty, I actually think Luka might do better. But again, if prime Dennis Rodman, I actually think Shea would do a touch better with, because I just think that's, and again, these are all-time great defenders too. I just think that step back and the separation that he gets, like the quick separation stuff. I mean, again, Luka could just throw up a 45-footer or 35-footer on a one-leg step back, and okay, we're chilling.
The way AI is, maybe like in a couple years' time, maybe like someone will be able to create prime Scottie Pippen versus SGA. Who the hell knows? Here's one thing in their favor. I compared SGA to MJ earlier in this podcast, unironically, like meant it. And I've called Luka Jordan when it comes to the postseason, with how his scoring goes up in the postseason.
Yeah.
So that's how damn good both of these players are. Let me ask you this, Keenan. I didn't have this on the agenda, but I feel like we haven't talked about him enough. You just mentioned him. And we've mentioned Nikola Jokic. Is Wemby. Would you take Wemby over Jokic just right now? 2 ways over what Jokic brings you all around on offense. Would you take Wemby's 2-way efforts over Jokic?
I want to say yes, but I'm going to respect Jokic and say not yet. This can change by June. Literally could change by June. Or it can stay the same by June and really like be kind of more cemented. But right now, no. And it's just, and I understand what Wemby can do defensively. Like, I watch pretty much every single Spurs game. I see everything that he does. And you just can't even quantify this numbers, because it's 6 blocks today, but it's the shots that didn't even like go up because Wemby was looming, like, or the thought of Wemby was looming. So like the shot didn't even go up. You can't quantify that in numbers, but you also can't quantify sometimes how much Jokic does offensively. Like, the assists almost don't do it justice sometimes, because he will just operate and get you into every single set so perfectly that they don't have back-to-back-to-back bad possessions, really. Like, they just don't string bad possessions offensively, because Jokic is too good. So that's kind of like Wemby's superpower defensively is the same as Jokic offensively, where it's almost like you don't have many bad possessions defensively because Wemby can just kind of make up for it. The same with Jokic. So I'm leaning Jokic right now, but again, that can change because Wemby offensively it's getting better and better. Yeah. And speaking of, how did you like him talking about why he should win MVP?
Actually, didn't see this.
I'm guessing you know.
I didn't see this.
Oh, okay. Okay, let me tell you about it because I know you're not obviously like completely plugged into all mainstream media, but Wemby after not their last win, I cannot think of who it was against, but anyways, Wemby after the last win said, "I think I should be MVP." And then the guy asked, like, what would be your case? He said, one, there is more to the game than there's more to offense than just points. Basically meaning like my gravity offensively of like being worried about the role. And so he didn't explain it, but that was what he was meaning. There's more to offense than just points. Two, we took and beat the Thunder 4 times, 3 times with their full roster, 1 time with their other roster. And then he said, I am the most impactful defensive player in the world, and the defense is 50% of the game. Like that was everything he said. Like he was really like, I should be the MVP. And he was like, there's a debate for sure right now. It's my job over the next little bit to make it no debate.
He's not wrong. He's not wrong at all. What I hate about this is my prediction anyway. You can make such a case for him, Jokic, Luka, and SGA. And I actually think Jokic has fallen off a little bit as of like since the break. Yeah. So let's say we give Luka the nod over Jokic. My fear is though that like once we get to it, let's say SGA wins. My fear is it's going to be like an overwhelming amount of first place votes for SGA, and then second place will be like, like 15 or 20 votes, however it works. Mm-hmm. When it really should be like Wemby, Luka, SGA, like whoever wins, it should be close. It should be a damn close race.
Like the NFL MVP this year, where it was like Matt Stafford and Drake May by like 1 literal vote. Like if one would have switched, May would have won MVP, Stafford would have been second, kind of thing.
Yeah, there's too many years like this in the NBA where it should be like splitting hairs, and especially when you get 3-4 players into it, like this year, where it's not exactly clear cut. Excuse me. I think people feel the most comfortable giving it to SGA because of the record, which is fine. I think he's going to end up winning, and I don't think that should be the case because I think people, and I'm just going off past, seasons that I'm looking at. I think almost people probably want to give it to him after those back-to-back game winners. Like, oh, that's SGA's MVP moment. But we got 2 full weeks of the season left, including playing, which none of these guys will be in the playing. But like, I think Luka's making an extremely strong case right now.
100%.
I think if you're watching this Boston game where they're beating OKC by 7 and they're kind of giving SGA problems, and we've seen Minnesota give SGA problems, like you got to put that on the resume, right? If Jokic were to make a huge run here, again, I think he's kind of out of it. But if Jokic were to make a huge run to close these 2 weeks and they went something like,
if they won out per se, and
then
they got to the 3 seed and beat the Lakers out for the 3 seed, like, of course he's in the conversation. He's gonna probably lead the league in rebounds and assists for the first time in history.
Right, right, exactly. Like he's so fucking ridiculous, and year in and year out, Jokic is unbelievable. That we're becoming numb to it, and we can't become numb to it because it's going to be ridiculous when we look back on this 2020 decade and look at his stats. And it's going to be that way someday with Wemby too. Oh, and by someday, I mean starting next year, starting this playoffs, really. So Wemby's not wrong. I just hope that's all represented. I hope it's a razor thin win for whether it's SGA, whether it's Luka, whether it's Wemby, whether it's Jokic. I think those 4 guys, including Ant, by the way, I think those 5 guys and Jalen Brown, it needs to be represented because Jalen Brown's got a strong case. If we're strictly talking most valuable, no one, including me, expected Boston to be where they are right now. And a large part of that is Jalen Brown. Jalen Brown took his game to a complete another level. I think I said on this podcast before the season started that he would be one of the focal points for me and one of the topics of the season for me to see if he really could fill Jason Tatum's shoes. And he's done that and then some. He's gone to a level I never thought we'd see Jalen Brown as a player. I even said to you, Keenan, early in the season how I kind of thought Jalen was overrated because I didn't think he could do what he's doing. And he shut me the hell up. So I wouldn't have a pick as of right now. Ask me when we do our awards, but it's anyone's ball game to me, and specifically SGA, Wemby, and Luka. And I would throw probably Jalen Brown ahead of Jokic at this point, just because, the Nuggets have been so inconsistent. But to go back quickly to our original topic of Wemby versus Jokic and just Wemby in general, as great as we've talked about on this podcast, how Jokic, Luka, and SGA are on offense, like they're otherworldly, especially when you look at the stats with Luka and Jokic. Like it breaks your brain when you see like 32, 10, and 9 as averages, Wemby's that good on defense. Wemby's that otherworldly on defense to where you can't even, like you said, Keen, there's shots that guys just turn down. They're not even trying to look at the rim because Wemby's just lurking. You can't really, like you said, you can't quantify what Jokic does on offense. You can't quantify the shit Wemby does on defense, right? And as I've mentioned, this is the biggest wild card to me in the playoffs, and it's literally not even strategy. It's the fact that Wemby's going to be on the court for 10 extra minutes. Because my worry is for the Spurs, I've mentioned this, is their youth and their shooting. And that is a factor for 99% of teams. Wemby's just not normal. He's so fucking good and so just out of this world that it might not matter. I think it will. I think it will eventually come to a head. But he's such an overwhelming presence, and his offense doesn't even really need to be good. For them to win, it's going to need to be good. He's going to have to do off the dribble stuff or sit in the post, one of the two. But, he can get you 25 points just off pick and pop, just off pick and roll and lobs and just running the core on a fast break. He can get you 25 easy without being in the flow of the offense. As you said, we've already seen him become that guy you can give the ball to in the flow of the offense. But when he becomes that Jokic, Luka, SGA type of offensive player, I don't know. We might have to build a new league, honestly. That to me is the biggest wild card going into the postseason, is the fact that you can just increase Wemby's minutes by 10 to 12. What does that look like? What's that going to do to the other teams because he's such a devastating defender?
I think you're 100% right in everything you're saying, because he's the great unknown. We know what Shea is. We absolutely know what Luka is. We know what Jokic is. We know what they are. They're all playoff killers. We know, we've seen it. They've proven it. They're all killers. We've all been to the finals. 2 of them won chips. Luka got there. With Wemby, we don't know. We assume we saw him against USA in the finals with France and looked like maybe they're arguably the best player on the floor. We've seen him in these situations. So I think it was the leading scorer in that game. Obviously, Steph went on the barrage at the end. LeBron played well throughout the game and put it there. But
I was going to say, Steph looked like the best player on the floor to me.
100. I mean, obviously, Steph had that barrage at the end, but overall, Wemby was I think he had 26 in that game. He was going on. He looked like one of the best players. Let me say.
I'm not going to lie, real quick. Yeah. What sticks out to me from that Olympics the most was the semifinal matchup. France and Canada was basically football, and SGA was getting whatever he wanted, no matter how. That's aside from Steph, that's the endearing memory to me of the Olympics. Boston just won by 10.
Boston just won by 10. Yeah, they just won by 10, and Shea had a really good game still, but 100%, they won by 10. But when it comes to in the MVP conversation, you're right, it should come down to the end. Then you can make a case for all of them. I actually think I would have Wemby leading by a hair right now. And it has to do with the fact it's leading everybody. And it's because of the same thing as what we're talking about with Jalen Brown. We thought that the Spurs could take a step this year. But we expect that step to be a 46-36, maybe a 6 seed. If not, right at the top of the play-in, get to the playoffs. We'll see what they can do in the first round. Let's see Wemby get there. They are most likely going to be a 60-win team. And if the Thunder have a tough back half of their schedule, last 10 games, They see Lakers twice. They see the Nuggets. They see New York. It's realistic that the Spurs could get the 1 seed too. So it could be there was no better record than the Spurs this year. I think they're 43 or 44-13 with Wemby on the floor this year. So it's one of those things where
his on-off stats are insane.
His on-off stats are insane, like a 103.5 defensive rating, which would be best in the league by a mile. It's those type of things where it's like, okay, it changes a little bit. But then again, you could say Luka's doing crazy things. Jokic going to do something no one's ever done. And Shea's putting up 32 a game on 55% shooting. So, like, all of them have a case, and I'm not trying to make it seem. I think I'd have Wemby, though, by a hair, just because the expectations for what their team is doing has been so much more, and it has so much to do with how great he is. Obviously, the development of Castle, Fox being there for a full season, Dylan Harper being a really good rookie, those things all matter, but it really comes down to what Wemby allows you to do defensively, and he's still 24 and 11 a night. And the per 36, he's putting up 30 a game and per 36 stats. So I'd have him leading by a hair, but I wouldn't even hate if you gave it to like Luka. I wouldn't even hate if you gave it to Jokic. I really wouldn't, because someone who's doing something that's never been done before in the league and leading in rebounds and assists while still, hey, I can still get you 30 a night. I can't say like I wouldn't love it because I think there are other reserve, but like I couldn't be like, man, they got it wrong.
Exactly.
Like, oh man, the NBA sucks. They got it wrong. Like, I couldn't do that.
Keenan, I can't really take much of this or much away from this because it's the Chicago Bulls. I don't know if you saw this, but Philly put up 157 on them.
157.
And that's
Embiid
in
had 35
4 quarters. Yeah. Embiid have 35, and I didn't even realize this. Paul George is back. This must have been Paul George's first game back.
Embiid's return back. He has 35. Paul George had 28 on 11 of 22, 6 of 13 from 3. VJ Edgecombe 22, 6 and 6.
That was
no Tyrese Maxey.
That must have been PG's first game back.
If it's not first, it's one of the first games back. I can check real quick.
I had the Sixers in my sleepers.
Yeah, first game back.
I had the Sixers in my sleeper section last time we did NBA tiers. Mm-hmm. They've dropped into the play-in section. I just don't even know what to do with this team. They're so talented. And again, this is the Chicago Bulls. We can't really make much of it. But if they're going to play like this, I just don't know what to make of 5 through 10 in the Eastern Conference right now, because I think it's loaded, but you can't really take them serious enough to face a team like Boston or New York. But at the same time, you could talk yourself into it with a few of these teams. I don't know.
See, you can't talk yourself into it in the conference finals, but you could talk yourself into it in the first round. That's kind of where it's weird, which means like obviously because it's just like a first round matchup. But seeing like, Charlotte's going to take Boston 7 in the Eastern Conference Finals. That's hard to say, but Charlotte's going to take Boston 7 in the first round of the playoffs. You could see, oh yeah, that could happen. And it's just because of later in the playoffs, the moment gets bigger, or those kind of things. Your execution matters a little bit more.
Where I think it gets weird for me, and it's going to be a new way I evaluate the NBA season. I used to say, I was thinking prior, like, you can't even take the NBA regular season into account anymore, which I don't know if that's true necessarily, but I do think you can't take October through February 15th with any grain of salt. Like, you can't take any of that seriously at all. I think you literally got to look at it from All-Star break on. And it really, Keenan, to me, and I think I've mentioned this to you off camera, it seems to me like these teams that go into the play-in, they don't carry themselves like 7 or 8 seeds. They carry themselves just like, all right, we got to face, the better regular season team with a better record. Fine. But it doesn't seem like teams take it as a disadvantage anymore. Like, people really think they can win from that 7-8 spot. I don't know. It's such a different league. And Keenan, I kind of want to do rapid fire real quick because I actually got NFL topics.
I got to say one thing really quickly. Wizards are up 62-33 on the Jazz. I didn't know that was possible. I know the Jazz aren't trying, but the Wizards are not trying, and I didn't know. And Angel Julian Reese is putting up 16 and 9 so far in 12 minutes.
Juju Reese.
So shout out to Angel. Man.
Shouts to DMV.
Okay. Also, the NBA kind of messed up because they put a picture. It looks like a picture of Trey Johnson. You know how they have like the picture there? They have a picture of Trey Johnson. It looks like he's not playing today. So,
Great.
It's pretty cool. Yes.
Real quick, because it's kind of on that topic, Keenan. How do you feel about this expansion? It's official now. Vegas and Seattle.
It's official that they're doing?
Seems to be. Said it was voted on by the Board of Governors today.
Like it? So I love the fact that you're getting something in Seattle. I really do. I love that. But I also think that if you wanted Vegas and Seattle, I think you could have moved 2 teams and just done that more.
Like the
I think
Pelicans?
Brooklyn and New Orleans, like the Pelicans and the Brooklyn Nets probably could have just said no. That's more so where I am with it. Like, I love those 2 markets getting it, more so Seattle than Vegas. I think Vegas is cool. I think Seattle deserves to have a team. They've shown how great they are and their fan base and everything. But I would have preferred it being 30 teams in the league and just say New Orleans, get out of there. You're the 3rd biggest team in there because LSU matters more. And then, hey, Brooklyn, we already have a New York team. You can go. We don't need you.
You just kind of gave me an idea. You just kind of gave me an idea because I normally would have said just what you said, like New Orleans for sure. I never thought of Brooklyn. That makes me almost think this would have been a perfect rebound, Keenan. Keep New Orleans where they are, even though I don't love the New Orleans Pelicans as a franchise. Keep them where they are. Move Brooklyn, move the Clippers, even though I know the Clippers has invested a ton into that stadium. We don't need 2 teams. We don't need 2 teams in LA. We don't need 2 teams in New York, clearly. Who the fuck was it? Rookie from Brooklyn had a quote the other day. They lost the Knicks by 1. And I love this quote. He was talking about how much it meant to him and how much he really wants the Knicks-Nets to be a rivalry. But the most important thing he said, and remember, the NBA made a huge deal about the Nets moving from New Jersey to Brooklyn. The most important thing he said every home game feels like an away game because there's so many just away team fans that come to their games. And that really is what Brooklyn has been used for, and probably the Clippers to some degree. Is just to be like, hey, it's okay, it's not MSG, but let's go to the Barclays, which is a nice arena, and let's watch our favorite team for cheaper.
The Las Vegas Clippers doesn't sound bad. Really doesn't. You can keep them Clippers. Las Vegas Clippers does not sound bad. And I would just take the Nets and say, hey, you're just the Supersonics. Like, you're not allowed to be anything else if you're in Seattle.
Let the Liberty.
And I know it'd be weird.
Let the Liberty. I know it'd be weird in
history. Yes, they care about them more. Like, let the Liberty own the Barclays Center. The biggest star in all of New York with Brooklyn when it comes to that's Sabrina Ionescu. She's bigger than anybody on the Brooklyn Nets. Don't care what anyone. Her shoes sell better than any. Like, she's a big star in that area. It's like, whatever. Get out of there, Brooklyn. We don't need you. We really don't. There hasn't been a team where you've been like, oh man, this Brooklyn Nets team they've had some decent teams in the past. Obviously, Paul Pierce was there. They tried the Darren Williams time and cool, but
they've had no relevant NBA moment other than KD, Kyrie, James Harden. Really, that's been.
Yeah, and that was super relevant when they didn't make it out of the first round and got swept.
Well, they got to the semis,
obviously,
right?
they got to the second. They got to the semis. Was the full 3 healthy didn't get there, but without Kyrie, but Harden and Kevin Durant, that was it.
Think about that, Keenan. You had 3 first ballot Hall of Famers, and let's say 2 for sure of the top 40, and just of this generation, of their generation, easily 3 of the top 15 most important players. KD,
two
Kyrie.
of the four most important players of their generation, and Kevin Durant and Harden, was Steph and LeBron as the other 2 probably. And then Kawhi right there too.
Fair enough.
But yeah, crazy.
You've got all 3 of them, and they still couldn't even make a dent into what the Knicks got going on in New York because the Knicks have been there forever. Like
the Knicks weren't even like great at the time. Like they weren't like they didn't matter because Brunson wasn't even there yet. So the Knicks really didn't matter.
Bring the Nets back to Jersey, man. We want to do this for Seattle. Bring the Nets back to Jersey.
Sure, I would be fine with that too. Like, just get them out of Brooklyn. They don't need to be there.
Jersey's loyal fan base. All right, Keenan. Quick topics because we went a little longer than I thought. Let me read the stat to you. React quickly because this goes with something we've talked about off camera a ton, including the last time we recorded. LeBron, first all time in scoring, first in attempts all time. Kareem Abdul-Jabbar, second all time in scoring, second in attempts all time.
Yep.
Karl Malone, third in scoring, third in attempts all time. Kobe, fourth in attempts all time.
Makes sense.
Michael Jordan, now sixth because Kevin Durant passed him. He was fifth, and he was fifth in attempts.
Makes sense.
Durant is now fifth. Where do you think he is in attempts all time?
I only know this because I've seen
so
it.
You see it. So 13th. Yes, I thought that was super impressive.
That's
And
insane.
gives credence to exactly why we love KD so much. Why you've since switched your stance on this, but you said once upon a time you think, and I don't begrudge you for this, that he's the best scorer ever. And my only thing was, I said he's just not as aggressive as Kobe as a scorer, for instance, was my thing. Even though he can probably get you better than Kobe, he can probably get it easier than Kobe. I don't know if he was as much. I hate saying the word killer because like people just throw that out just so like we know Kobe's a killer, but like, you know what I mean?
So the thing that I thought with Durant's the only thing I'll say on it because it's an insane stat. But the thing that I've thought with Durant is he is an A+ scorer with an A resume. And that's so he feels like he's underachieved by a hair as a scorer, but obviously an A resume is still a 95. So it's still a super amazing resume, but it just feels like he's underachieved as a what we thought. Cause again, on Is It Hype Real, we talked about it. It's like 16 guys that have scored 60 points since Kevin Durant's been in the league, and he is not one of them.
Not one of them. Not one of them.
Fox, Booker, Mitchell, Doncic, like he's just not one of them. And you're like, Bam, Dame, Steph, Braun, Melo, like all of these guys have done this while he's been in the league, and you're like, him? This guy didn't put up 60 yet?
It's crazy.
So it just feels like he's an A+ level scorer with an A resume, and it's just a little disappointing, which is why I can't have him the greatest scorer of all time. But if you had to make a score, he's the greatest creation of a scorer to ever play. Like the greatest creation, because like he can do whatever and gets a good shot every time.
Unreal. Well said. I like that. I like how you put that. March Madness. What are your thoughts so far from weekend one? By the time we get done recording, Sweet 16 starts tomorrow. Any predictions for the weekend? Any thoughts on the weekend that preceded us?
I think we're going to have a very, very good March Madness moment this weekend. Like one of those ones where it's like, oh, this shot's within kind of, not like the all-time lore, but one of the memorable ones, like, oh, this shot I don't have a player. I just think that there's going to be a moment that there's this shot that happened. So far, it's been really good. You had a 1 seed that was upset. Shout out to, sorry, Brandon. I'm very sorry. I know
he was supposed
we
to
might
be
not see Brandon for a while. Might not see him for a while.
He was supposed
that really
to be
killed
here.
him. But unfortunate. So that was unfortunate. But you've had some upsets. You've had some very great individual play. Darius Acuff has been playing out of this world. So you've got a lot of good individual performances. I've really liked March Madness so far on the men's. And if I'm going to mention the men's, I've got to mention the women's. The women's really starts like for every team this weekend because teams like UConn get up 62-14 at half against Syracuse. But we've had some really, really good games from your like 3-6 matchups and the 7-10s. We've had some really good games there and some really good like performances. Like Madison Booker put up 40, AZ Fudd had 34, Hannah Hidalgo had 8 steals in the second round against a good team.
She's Dyson Dan.
Things like I've never seen someone get as many steals. Like she averages 5 a game. I'm like, It's like Wemby with blocks. I don't even know
how did Audie Crook's first weekend go?
She lost in the first round, but I think she had a 30 piece just in the loss.
She seems to dislike defense, pick and roll defense.
Yeah. So the unfortunate thing with Audie Crooks and that Iowa State team over the last few years, they've actually had like talent like Abby Brown. They've had a couple other players as well. Like they should be a little bit better than what they are, but I just think that when you get to a lot of good teams, they don't have the defensive prowess to kind of stack up with them. So it's hard. They don't really get stops well.
I'll say this. You hear me say a ton when you and Brandon are talking college sports, or you and Tim, and I'll be like, I just don't follow it anymore. I would say most years when March Madness comes up, I'm like, all right, cool. Like, I'll try to catch it a little bit, but like overall, it doesn't pique my interest.
Yep.
This past weekend, I was in Detroit, not watching games, but this was all going on the entire time I was in Detroit, and I'm kind of like, I kind of want to check these games out, and I haven't had that feeling in a while. So you might see me peep into the Sweet 16, the Elite Eight, going towards next weekend. But I don't know. It definitely doesn't pique my interest like it used to. I've seen some shit online where people were like, "Oh man, how do you go from March Madness to trying to watch NBA regular season?" Which I understand. I understand that if you're not watching any basketball, but that's kind of why I fell out of love with college basketball. It's like, man, I could either watch a NBA game where, I mean, you've heard me, and especially me, you've heard me complain about the product that is the NBA regular season. I get it. But man, it's amateur basketball. At the end of the day, it's still amateur basketball watching these college kids. Like, I don't know. Like that's why I didn't fill out a bracket, but I was kind of hyped because I was like, all right, I know nothing about this. I feel like I could have a pretty good bracket just because.
I'm going to name a player that you know that you're like, okay, you remember him getting a boost because of his tournament run. Yeah, you can watch Michigan and watch Mitch McGary, or I could go watch Jokic play against Wemby. I wonder what I would rather watch. And I understand.
In the case of tonight, Celtics Thunder.
Celtics, yeah, like I got to watch a Jalen Brown, Jason Tatum, Shai Gilgeous-Alexander, Jalen Williams game. I think I'm doing okay. Like I'm pretty positive I'm okay with watching that level of basketball. I love March Madness, and I think it's great because these players are playing like this could be their last game, because for some people, it could be their last important basketball game that they're playing at this kind of level. But let's not do let's just not do that.
Real quick.
I don't like that when people say it. I just don't do that.
Real quick.
The NBA is special. Playoffs of NBA is special.
Absolutely. And March Madness is special, and it has this pageantry.
Oh, 100%.
I get it. I've been there for it, but college sports just don't mean as much to me. You know what really killed college sports for me before we move on to football topics? And maybe it should have always been this way, but coaching really gets me when it comes to college football and college basketball. Because it's like, okay, if you let coaches in the NBA literally just recruit, no cap, no nothing, you just can recruit, and you can under the table offer. I mean, obviously NIL's got it different, but Nick Saban, let's take him for example. He didn't do well in the NFL. He was a god in college football, but you're getting all the best players in the SEC in that region to come to your school. How good of a coach are you really? You know, that's kind of my question. Coach K, same thing. Coach Calipari always had great rosters. He's not the greatest coach. He's a really good motivator. Like he definitely, and his guys are always pro ready. We're going to see this with Acuff. He's going to kill it in the pros because that was always my thing. Take the Kentucky guard, take the Kentucky player. It's going to be the same thing with Arkansas now. I promise you that. But I just it's like, how good are these coaches actually? Because there's so many coaches who come in, get to coach the best teams, and then, they're a Sweet 16 exit, or they're around a 32 exit, or this and that. Then you got guys like Rick Pitino who have gone to different spots, and this is his fourth school that he's brought to the Sweet 16. That guy can coach. Brad Stevens, when he was in college and the NBA, clearly can coach.
Yeah.
That's my thing with college sports. I just when I hear these big name coaches in college football or in college basketball, it's like, all right, how much can you coach really when it comes to your resources and this and that? That's my only thing.
Yeah. No, that's fair. And I understand it. And I don't know everybody who coaches. Like, I'm not at the same level. Like, oh, I know this coach, just like I do in the NBA or the NFL. But it does come to a point. The NIL starting to even things out a little bit more because you are getting talent dispersed throughout multiple schools. So like the better coaches will actually pop up and shine. So it's not just, oh, all SEC guys are going just to the SEC. Like, and football, Big Ten now, you got Ohio State, you got Michigan, you've got those schools that have, you got, as I say, Indiana, you've got those schools now that are getting more talent, and it's showing that these coaches, when the playing field is level, they are actually a really good coach. So no, that's definitely a fair point, because John Calipari, hey, if you want to go to the NBA, come see me. If you want to win a natty, probably don't come see me. We can get you there, maybe close, but he's only gotten one.
And he's got a natty, but that's the thing. There's so many coaches who just have one. And I get it, because you are going against.
He's underachieved for the teams he's had.
Absolutely.
If you go through, like, it's underachieved, and you're like, man, you're trying to tell me you couldn't get to deep into weekend 2 with John Wall and Boogie Cousins, and you couldn't manage? Really? You couldn't get deep into weekend 2?
It's a different sport.
I'm asking weekend 3, just weekend 2 you couldn't get deep into?
It's a different sport. I remember that game too. I remember that game when they lost too. But
yep,
it's a different sport. Not only do you got
100%.
seemingly amateur coaches, definitely amateur basketball players, but the biggest thing to me, amateur refs is what gets me in these games. Like, it's just amateur hour all around. Doesn't mean they don't make for great games. Doesn't mean they don't make for memorable moments, but I'm kind of cool on it when it comes to that versus the NBA. Keenan, we're coming off the World Baseball Classic. A, did you watch any of it? B, what are your thoughts? We've talked about this. MLB's kind of coming back for both of us. It's got a different energy to me. Like, even now, it feels like spring training and all this, and WBC feels like the MLB's got a buzz. Will you be tuning in? Let me ask you this. Week 1 MLB season, will you actually be tuning in, watching, let's say, innings 6 through 9 of given game? Are you actually gonna be doing that, or are you gonna wait till July?
So I probably will be tuning in early, and then I'll be immersed in the NBA season, and then I'll get immersed into the WNBA season.
WNBA's around the corner.
I'll be fun. They're gonna get contracts now too. Like, could be $1 million contracts we're seeing here. Well deserved, but I didn't really watch a lot of the World Baseball. Well, I watched highlights, and then because I was on overnight, so kind of just like weirdly timing. Like, I went out when games were on, but I watched highlights and I kept up with it. So like, and that was more than I've done in the past. So in fact, like, I would look at scores, see who was doing what, and I really like what the World Baseball Classic's turning into, because it's turning into like a mini Olympics. Obviously, they do it every year instead of it being every 4 years for that. But like, it's becoming like an
almost
actual
like the World
event.
Cup.
Like the World Cup, kind of like becoming a legitimate event that people care about, and that's the really cool thing about it. Where a lot of people love playing for their country and like actually like love playing. So it's really cool. So I really like the fact that it's something that matters to all these players, and they treat it like it matters. And it's not like, I'm just going to sit out because I don't really feel like it. You've got Bryce Harper, you got Bobby Witt Jr., you've got Ohtani, you got Yamamoto, you've got all of these guys who you're like, can we get our MLB's best? Yeah, they're going to be dispersed all over the country, all over the world, but we got them. So I really like.
Yeah, love the WBC. I'll probably tune into the MLB. I don't know if I'll really be watching like that, though, at least until the summer. I am looking for the WNBA. Tell us your reaction to the contracts and everything, and what we got in store for us.
Finally, and I understand that whenever you talk and contracts, you have the people who don't really watch the WNBA, and they're like, well, only Caitlin Clark matters, and they don't deserve to make as much as the NBA guys. And now it's like never an argument for the WNBA. It was, hey, we just want a bigger slice of the revenue share. Like, we don't want this 9%. We want to get up to 30, 40%. Like, the NBA is going to be at a 50-50. We're not as profitable as them, of course. We're not LeBron, but hey, we do make money. We're selling out these arenas. when we come into town, there is hoopla. Like there is like that's a thing. Asia Wilson's shoe selling well. Sabrina's shoe selling well. Caitlin Clark's player edition's doing well. She has a Kobe player edition coming out soon. It's tough. And then you've got Paige. Like these players are doing well. They were selling out even unrivaled, and that's not even the WNBA. So I'm glad that they're going to be able to not be on teacher salary and be able to say, hey, we can play basketball for life. And I think that's just only going to get more and more women or kids really becoming, when they become women, looking to play basketball. Because it's like, why am I going to dedicate all this time if I'm making $60K? I'm going to have to get a job afterwards, and I'm not really getting much notoriety from it because it doesn't matter. Now you're getting the notoriety and you're getting money to where it's like, okay, I can make a living off of basketball. Now I'm going to gun for it. So I think you're just going to continue to get more and more players. So I think it's a really good start. And there's always little things you could tweak, but really happy about it because I think it puts the WNBA in a very good spot. And I just hope that the league itself doesn't do NBA things and doesn't mess up in that point. That's really what I'm going to be looking at over the next 5 years. Like, don't mess up because you have it right here. Right here. Just don't mess it up.
I don't think they can go the NBA route and mess things up because the NBA, like the NFL, only cares about money. And I'm seeing this problem in the UFC too, where it's like they're kind of just throwing together big name fights without really like building a story to it. They just kind of are jumping to the end already for championship fights. Like that's kind of a problem, right? Like fans still want to see fighters built, matchups built. And in the case of the NBA, this is a money grab when we're talking about Seattle and Vegas. That's all it is. We don't necessarily need expansion. The NFL, the 18-game schedule that we're eventually going to get, that's just a money grab. We don't need an 18-game schedule. We're all going to watch. We'll all be there. But, bro, full September, full October, full November, full December, full January, in 2 weeks into February, that seems like an insane NFL schedule to me. We've already got injuries. So I don't think, Nas Reed with a nice dunk. I don't think the WNBA has the season length nor the notoriety, if you want to say that, to even make decisions the way the NBA does. And because, Keenan, they're so I don't want to say underpaid, but they're still not paid like NBA stars. They're going to finally get their just due, but they're not going to get insane contracts. You're still... That's one thing I love about the WNBA that has gone away from the NBA and it's kind of coming back is just that rivalry, just that grittiness to it. You're going to have these players who play on these teams for 8 years and they're going to have tons of familiarity because there's so little teams compared to the NBA. So that part the WNBA's got down. And that's the part I can't wait to see grow with this league because they've been hot now for the last, I'd say 5 years. Even before Caitlin, they were kind of starting to grow on social media.
Sabrina, Asia, like that, like the Brianna Stewart and Asia matchups, and like it's starting to go now. You got Paige, Caitlin, Angel Reese, of course, and then when Juju comes into the league, that's going to be another whole thing. So like,
yes,
no, they have so much talent coming up the works, like moving forward. And you're right too, because they don't have as many teams, so like their expansion makes sense.
Yes.
Okay, there's more talented players, and there are some players who are not on rosters right now that can actually play as like 7, 8. So when they get to 22 to 23, 22 teams, roughly 20 to 22, that's going to make sense. And now you can extend it all summer. You can make it. You can own every summer pretty much, other than like World Cup and Olympics. So like you can own the summer. Because that's when baseball's kind of at its a little more dead time, because obviously it's so many games. And you have only a 50-game season. So you have, or right now it's like in the 40s, but you'll probably go up to like a 52-game season. Like games matter, and all these players, as you were mentioning, are playing like every game matters. They don't sit out. It's like we still have to prove something, and they're still playing like they have to prove something. I love it. I really love it. I mean, shout out. Sure now, like to shout out, like I just love watching it. I love watching the WNBA. I really do. So I genuinely enjoy it. Do I understand that it's not NBA players dunking on other people? Yes, but the product is clean and the basketball is clean and the game's only getting better. Like the dribble moves, the shooting, the shots that they are taking, and that's why like it's starting to move more and more away from feed it to the big in the paint, which I hate so much. I hate that game. I hate that gameplay. College basketball does it too, where it's like, yeah, we need to get our big touches in the paint. Like we need, like calm down. Like you're not Jokic. Like we don't need to get your 7th best player touches in the paint just so he plays defense. Like we don't need to do that. But yeah,
I would love to see them move the season up, and this would be tough because April's when the NBA starts, but really, or excuse me, when the playoffs start. But it really doesn't make a difference.
Kind of when the NBA starts,
right? No joke, no fucking joke.
Kind of when the NBA starts.
It really doesn't make a difference because now they're going head to head with the semifinals by the time their season starts, along with the conference finals. I'd love to see them move the season up a month, and then end because I think their finals is like what? September. It's like the beginning of the NFL season.
It's during the NFL season because there was a couple days where I was like NBA finals on a Sunday, or WNBA finals on a Sunday, NFL here. Like I was having to watch both, and like I'm gonna watch both, but most people who are like NFL over WNBA, of course, like they're not gonna watch both. So it would be better, or if you're gonna do it during that time, mandatorily never have a game on a Sunday. You just don't have a game on Sunday. Like you just don't have one on a Sunday. Like own Saturday.
I was gonna
say
own
Friday.
I was gonna say
even Saturday, college football Saturdays.
Yeah, true. I was gonna say if they could find a way to end August or that first week of September, that would be perfect for them. Then, like you said, they could own June, end of June, up until because you're probably not gonna get too much crossover between WNBA and MLB. So, like, you can kind of own that slot from at least basketball fans.
And a lot of people who watch the MLB now, I mean, you have people like you and I who watch multiple sports and like will tune in. But again, we're not going to be just really like Yankees Mets. Got to tune into that one. It's more so like if we're not doing anything and the Yankees Mets are on, we're like, okay, we'll watch it. But we're not going to. We got to tune in. Yeah, but we're also. I know you were because I talked to you about it last year. It was like, is that Caitlin and the New York Liberty playing, or is that Paige in Asia playing? I was like, let me tune into that. Like, I actually want to like get home to watch this game because it's gonna be cool. Where it's getting more and more to that point where you're gonna be like, oh, there's some big time matchups that are coming up that I have to watch.
It'll be great to have Caitlin back. Keenan, I have NFL topics that I'm actually going to shelve for when we have Timmy back on. Of course, we have the draft coming up too, so we got more NFL. But I do want to know 100%. Your thoughts. And we kind of talked about this in the group chat. Flag football. Tom Brady. Thoughts?
So I thought that was really interesting. I thought it was really cool that like they kind of had the thing together and they put it together and it looked like they cared. And then it was just one of those things where it's the same but different sport.
Mm-hmm.
Grabbing a flag, like I've played both. Grabbing a flag and that kind of level of stuff is completely different. Like it's not in Joe Burrow's wheelhouse to say Joe Burrow passed to Jalen Hurts behind the line and Jalen Hurts hits somebody. Like that's just a completely different game. It's not like you have to sit there and read the defense to that level, like make line adjustments and things like that, where that's where a lot of these players separate. It was kind of out, and it's a little different even too, but it's like going to Rucker. Like people can play with some NBA players at Rucker. Like on an NBA court, they're not doing that to that level. Like they're just not doing it because that's why they're not in the NBA, or else they would be in the NBA if they could do it in the NBA. But at Rucker, these one-on-one games, there's like these players are talented. They obviously can get to the basket. They can shoot. So like it's a completely different game that you're like, oh yeah, you can do well in it, but you might not be perfect at it.
Mm-hmm.
So obviously the NFL players, they didn't do terrible, but
they got work.
People who train for something. They got work. There's people who train for it all the time. Like, yeah, Connor could stand up and box, but like he's not a boxer.
Exactly.
Like that kind of like, so he's a fighter, but he's not a boxer. So like that's a kind of like you're an NFL football player, but you're not a flag football player. There's just different lanes for different things. And that's really all. It really showed that to people because we were talking about like, what is Ukraine going to do with Jamar Chase? And it's like, we don't even have to worry about that. We actually have a team that's going to take care of them. So, like,
it's interesting because I do wonder, because it's like muscle memory.
What these other countries would do.
The one thing you saw, no, I still think we're going to work the fuck out of them, honestly. But maybe, but yeah, I did find myself wondering, like, okay, because you saw it was a muscle memory thing. Like the NFL guys were almost expecting contact, whereas like
Yeah.
Tyreek Hill in his prime, not now, but Tyreek Hill would be made for this. He would like how small he is compared to other receivers and how evasive he is. That's what you need. But it made me
like
think
Jahmyr Gibbs would have like
Gibbs
is
too.
like just
There's
made.
plenty of NFL
like,
guys who will definitely latch onto this and would be perfect for this. My thing is what you saw, especially with like Brady, Jalen Hurts, Burrow, they would just, all right, we're giving to them, we're dropping back. What they didn't do is like what you said that the flag football team was doing, our national team, which is like 3 passes in the backfield, then we're deciding what we do with it. It's more like a basketball game at that point. You're spreading the defense and you're trying to get to open spaces. So I did wonder, like, okay, once these NFL guys grasped that, they had, let's say, another game 2 weeks later, what would this look like if you got all these guys, which they should have been doing beforehand if they all had the time and were practicing, fine.
If you had an off season, like if they just said over the off season, we're going to have a flag football off season, they could be obviously disgusting. They're the best athletes football wise in the world. So like they would be disgusting, but just hopping in like, hey, here you go, like figure it out. Like, and you got a couple practices with Sean Payton like looming, but like just different.
I will say, I saw that the game was on and I knew the game was on. I'm like, I really want to watch this. And for some reason, I thought it was on Netflix. I don't know why. I thought this was a Netflix game and I'm on Netflix and I'm like, all right, I don't see the game, but I'm pretty sure it's on today. Then I find out it's on Fox. I'm like, dope. Because I wasn't really sure I was going to watch it. But once it came down to it, I'm like, yeah, no, I do want to watch this, especially since Tommy's playing, you know? So
yeah.
I don't know if you saw this, Keenan, but like Tom Brady didn't play most of the first drive. They get it to what's 4th and goal, the equivalent to 4th and goal in their league. They put Brady in on the first drive. I think who'd he hit for that touchdown? I know someone in the NFL. It might have been DeAndre Hopkins. It doesn't matter. Hit someone for a touchdown. And I'm like, oh, this is like the old days. Like just Brady just doing his thing. And then he hits Gronk on the 2-point conversion. Gronk goes out with an injury. And I'm like, this is definitely like the old days where Brady's like doing his thing and Gronk can't stay healthy. He was out for the rest of the game. Maybe they win if Gronk's in that game because he's, you know, fucking 7 feet compared to everyone else. 6'8" really, but
and
just
like,
brought me back.
That game, it
just brought me back.
It also just shows me like clean pocket.
No one's better.
He can still
No one's
play.
better with a clean pocket.
Like clean pocket, like he can still play.
And he looks great.
Like
he is in shape.
He looks great. Like I wish he didn't have the Raiders thing because next year, if you're trying to tell me like the Detroit line or the 49ers or something like that, you got Mike Evans now. He was thrown to him before.
He could still play.
Like, hey,
he could still play.
He could still play and be like a top 15 guy. You can't.
Top 15.
You can't. I'm sorry. You can't convince me that like that past Baker Mayfield, like that level of quarterback, he can't.
Over 18 games, I'm not sure. Over 18 weeks, I should say. But if you just signed him,
over a full NFL season, if you just said, hey, playoff.
Week 10.
How many quarterbacks in the league would you take? Or would you take Tom over like the playoffs? If you're just saying, hey, here's 3 games to get to the Super Bowl and then the Super Bowl.
And I know he's had the playbook.
Obviously, Allen.
He's been like he's been on the practice squad the whole season.
Yeah.
I'm trusting him.
Perfectly healthy.
I'm trusting him. Obviously, here's the thing, like,
are you trusting Jared Goff more than Tom Brady?
You know what? Here's the thing, Keenan. Here's the thing.
I don't know.
Here's the thing. I can downplay it as much as I want. Phillip Rivers came up off the couch, not even in game shape, and was still able to maneuver the pocket and play pretty well. So Brady, who's in actual game shape for whatever reason, because he's a fucking psycho. And then on top of that, he's a fucking psycho. Yeah, if you told him like, yo, Tom, you get to take the Niners for the last 6 weeks of the season. You've been on the practice squad. And Flacco's still doing, yeah, Tom Brady probably could. As long as he could still evade in the pocket and still step up and throw in the pocket, everything's still there.
There is no way he doesn't still have his pocket mobility. That didn't just go like that. That he still has, maybe it's not like prime Tom, obviously, but I still think it's okay. I feel the rush. Let me step up and make the throw. He still has that.
I can say with I can say with confidence he probably moves better than 100% of 48-year-olds.
I'm telling you right now, in the playoff, if you gave me the playoffs, there's obviously the guys in the league. Like, there's the guys in the league, and then there's does Tom Brady have a better playoff run throwing the ball than Drake May does? I mean, Drake May obviously with his legs was very important for him, but I'm so confident in Tom that you can tell me anything with him and I'd say, yeah, he could win MVP probably. I mean, it's Tom Brady. You kidding me? So
MVP. Now we're saying
no, I'm joking. I'm just joking about that. He couldn't clearly win MVP, but he could go on a playoff run. That I'll stand on that. He can go on a playoff run with not take a bad team like he could before, but you give him a team, give him Detroit, he can go on a playoff run with Detroit. Be just fine. Throwing down Mon Ra. Oh, here's Jahmyr Gibbs out of the backfield. He wouldn't know what to do. He'd be like, wait, all this talent? What's going on? It's not Connor Hogan? Not Chris Hogan, but Connor Hogan? Shout out Connor Hogan.
That's all the time we have for today.
Yes.
You just heard Keenan wax poetically about why Tom Brady would win with multiple teams in the NFL. Keenan, take us out of here.
Warner Brothers Podcast, YouTube, TikTok, Instagram, all at Warner Brothers Podcast. This was fun. It was good to be back. Good to talk some sports. So much more that we could have gotten into. We're going to have way more NBA. Cannot wait for our awards. That's going to be fun. Going to have some WNBA. Going to have some NFL. We got the draft coming up. This is one of the best times of the year. Opening day is really tomorrow, but obviously it opened today. So, what a time. What a time. Warner Brothers Podcast, YouTube, TikTok, Instagram. We'll be seeing you guys again very soon.